Good afternoon, I'm Gregory Correa from Harmonics, and today we're on location. A great place to be. I feel like I'm at home. I'm in Skyline Studios with the owner and producer, Brian Matheson. How are you, Brian?
We're doing well.
Man, this place is absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
How long have you been doing this? I mean, especially in this area right here.
Well, I built the studio in '93.
Okay.
And before that, I was up in the finished garage of a house up in the hills.
Okay.
Hence the name Skyline Studios. And I was up there for about 5 years before I did this, and built this place out in '93.
Absolutely. I know we're going to take a tour a little while.
Yeah.
This is absolutely, we're in the main room. Is this the main room?
Live room A, yeah.
And this is like, sometimes you'd have groups play live in here, live stream you were talking about?
Right. Well, this room we use for, if we're going to track drums or live bands or choirs or, even interviews where we need to have multiple people on the same room.
Let's talk about how did you actually get into this, to do recording? What kind of moved you into this area as a young man and then, present day?
I moved here from Canada in '86.
Okay.
I didn't know a soul out here. Mm-hmm. I had my Fostex 8-track machine that I had recorded some of my original music on, and I was looking for a studio to mix down my stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was using a mix down format. Remember PCM Beta?
Of course.
Before that, right? Mm-hmm. I was using PCM Beta to record, to mix down onto that. And I was looking for a studio that had that. And I was in Leo's Pro Audio. Remember Leo's next door?
Right? Yeah.
And there was a guy who worked there who had a little home studio. And he goes, yeah, I got one of those. I said, oh, great. Let me book some time. I'm going to mix down my songs. Got to be friends, started gigging together. I started working in the studio as a client, working on my stuff. And then, his room was dark during the day because he was working at Leo's. And I'm like, bro, I'm only gigging at night. Why don't you just toss me some keys and let me do some sessions for other people? And that was the very, very beginning. Mm-hmm. That was around 86, 87 kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And, we started out with a Roland MSQ 700 sequencer, Oberheim DX drum machine, and a DX7. And that was it, Yeah. And I had an AKG C61 mic and a few other miscellaneous mics. So that was like the only good mic. And so little by little, just built it up over time. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you've really built up something. You were talking about earlier to me, what kind of people come in here? Everybody, you do auto books, you got bands, you got solo artists. How does that all rumble together? The
key to survival is having a diverse constituency, I think. And I think that's been that's what has survived. Mm-hmm. That's what's held us, kept us alive all these years. Today, for example, we're doing an audiobook in the other room for a major New York publisher, and then there'll be some hip hop later tonight, and then there'll be a live tracking session where we're going to be with a whole band live off the floor kind of thing, and then some film post where I got to do another voiceover for an actor's going to come in and do something for some other gig. So it all depends, there's, hip hop and rock and pop or whatever kind of music production, and then all kinds of voiceover stuff. Mm-hmm. Like audiobooks or podcasts or ADR sessions for film post, and all kinds of variations on that stuff.
Now, you're credited with doing the audio books also on when you're, how they package it, or is your studio actually Skyline Studios?
At the end of it, they say this was recorded at Skyline Studios with Brian Matheson type thing. Yeah.
So when you mentioned that you had some special guests here, you had Angela Davis. How was that, having Angela?
That was super cool.
An iconic activist, great woman.
We did 6 days, 6-hour sessions, and had lunch every day, and it was like she was telling her story, life story, to me. and it was just extraordinary. Very powerful. An amazing story.
Has her book come out? Has the audiobook come out?
It's not come out yet.
Oh, so it would be in 2022
Yeah,
possibly?
well, the audiobook comes, I think, soon. I don't know when.
So this is your life, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So when you, what is the favorite thing you like to do? I mean, meeting people. Do you like to have your hands on, the controls when you're whatever you're doing at that time, or do you interact with the musicians?
Of course. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I am able to do all the sessions. Always have been. I mean, I can do any of the different kinds of sessions. I don't do them all. I get other people to do, a lot of the sessions, so I don't have to be here 24/7. What do I like to do? I like to do the creative. How do I put this? I like to do things that fascinate me, like always trying to figure out how we can do things better in the studio, improving it.
Interesting.
Incrementally, baby steps all the time. Every day I think, what can we do better? What can we do a little bit differently than what we did last time? How can I upgrade the studio? How can we make this look a little bit better? It's very small tweaks that happen all the time.
You're like looking ahead. You're trying to expand.
Yeah, I'm trying to just make the studio as great as it can be. I don't have millions of dollars to invest in a studio like some tech millionaires might have. I don't have that. I have to do this with using the limited resources that we have.
So you mentioned earlier that you could play guitar. What kind of music do you play, or do you cover a lot of space?
My background was always playing, funky ass rhythm guitar in funk and rock bands. That's been always my thing. I was like the lead singer, rhythm guitar player guy. But I also have another dark history in my past where I sang 18 years in a classical choir, which I was sort of recruited because they needed, pop rock voices for what they wanted to do. And next thing you know, I'm
singing in a choir.
Next thing you know, I got a tuxedo on. I'm singing with symphonies because it was so alien to me, but was sort of the other side of the spectrum of music, of my music experience, and greatly informed my ability as a guitar player and as an overall musician and as a producer and as a recording engineer.
So did you do Gregorian chants too while you were
No, not Gregorian chants. More modern than that.
Just more
well,
modern.
I mean, music through.
Was it in a church? Were you in
No,
church?
it was a choir. We did. This choral group was called Pacific Mozart Ensemble. We did lots and lots of very varied and difficult compositional stuff. It's sort of like a vocal SWAT team to do. We get hired to do all kinds of different things. Yeah, I mean, we went to Germany and recorded the Leonard Bernstein Mass and got a Grammy nomination for that.
Oh my goodness!
Some of the hardest material ever. And but we've done some really out there stuff, and it was really great for my ears and really great for my reading and really great for my singing and made me a better musician.
So as we move forward, what do you see the music scene? They just had the American Music Awards on Sunday. What do you see how music is moving in the world? Because you listen to a lot of different guys, a lot of different men and women come in here, you do audiobooks. What do you see, what the music is going to, how's it moving?
Well, it's hard to say, there's the mainstream stuff that you can hear, the formulaic, every time I turn on the radio, I hear the same, 1-5-6-4 progression or various, 4-1-6-5, like chord progressions all the time in pop music, and you hear that. Right. It's ubiquitous. And then you hear the heavily tuned stuff, which is fine, no judgment. You can hear that it's become so pervasive, and so many people are making music now. They don't understand music. They assemble a collage of sounds. You know what I mean?
It's like structure, different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like they're not. There's a lot of musicians out there, or rappers, or people making music these days that are not harmonically informed. Let's just say.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
And no judgment.
Yes.
That's
just
the way that is, you know,
Right.
and that there's probably going to be a lot more of that going forward. People just kind of finding beats online and then they do their
Using
thing
it,
on
yeah.
top of that without a knowledge of what even key they're in. Wait, now this is control room A. And so there's a session going on right now, but they just took a lunch break. So right now we're, hold on a second. Yeah, so you want to like come over here and just take a.
So is this also a place where is this where you did the audiobooks too?
Audiobook, yes.
Audiobooks?
Yeah, yeah. This is so, you know, when we're doing an audiobook, we've got a PDF, and we've got the book here, and we annotate, you know, for the edits. Anyway, so this is control room A. Yeah, get close up of all that sexy gear. It looks better when it's on. Hold on. There.
He knows how to put the lights on. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And this cloud overhead,
Yes.
when they demoed the old studio at Chabot, I scored that when they were about to throw it out. I was like, no, I'll take that.
They destroy so much stuff there.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
All right, so that's control room A, and this is Jesus.
Hello.
So this is control room B,
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
and then this is, come on in here, there's live room B in here.
This is well. You have a variety of drums. Where have all these different kind of drums are? Right where you.
One of my guys who works here is a percussionist. And so we got all kinds, yeah.
Is that Malaysia drums?
So
or
these are taiko drums.
Wow.
These here. And that's like, yeah, and you know, whole mess of percussion and more guitars and
Great. room.
vibes, of course, and you know. Well, we use this room for, well, anything, you know.
You fit the singer would be in here, or
We could be a singer or a rapper or a voiceover thing or anything can be in here.
I know you have a beautiful mic that sets in there.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's usually the U87 or a TLM 103, one of these things, you know.
There it is. These are the Nikes right there.
Yeah. And then, yeah, there's an SM7B behind you.
Yeah. Look at this one. This is another nice doll. Man, you're really beautiful.
And then-
Absolutely.
Come on in here, you can see control room, the vocal room in here.
Oh. Wow.
So we usually, you know, so many sessions that we do here, you know, are Zoom.
What is the soundboard made of right here? This is really nice.
This is pressed fiberglass. It's all
Okay.
Corning 703. And I deaden the room down to make it totally
Yeah,
dead.
hear it.
So we usually have cameras and people are watching. You know, there's a director in New York, I think, directing the audiobook. And then take a look behind you there. Is that contraption down there? MERV 13 filter spec for coronavirus filtration.
Oh, thank you.
And then a UVC light right there, which is it kills the coronavirus, and I can control it with an app on my phone.
Man, this place is
Don't
state
look-
of the art.
And you don't want to look at it.
No. I want my shades back on.
Yeah. But, you know, what we do between sessions is run the air filter and turn on the UVC light to disinfect, just in case.
Wow. Taking care of the people that work here and the people that come here.
Right.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. You set a standard for the human race, which most people, you know, really seriously. So Brian, thank you for this tour. It's quite amazing, and the setups that you got in each room. Was it always your design? This is your your process, this is like your laboratory, right?
Yeah. I just, you know, I didn't go to school for any of this stuff, you know. I just kind of had to figure it out as I went. So this is what I came up with.
So as, you know, just a guy that has been around music for a long time, probably a lifetime you've been in music, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask what I normally just ask.
No other marketable job skills, so.
Just you always just. But you were a professor at one of our colleges, Chabot Las Positas College.
Yeah, I taught at San Francisco State. I taught at Chabot. I taught at Diablo Valley College.
Oh, so you're extensive.
Yeah, done a lot of teaching.
How was State?
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, what I liked about that program is that class, it was intermediate recording. It consisted of 15 3-hour sessions here, which was
perfect.
It was great because it was all about, you know, teaching them how to, you know, simple to complex tracking. That was a fun session, a fun class to teach because it's just recording sessions. And the pandemic killed off that program. So
yeah, it has hurt us, all of us, set us just really at a bad. Yeah. Well, hopefully 2022.
Yeah, and you know, we were shut down for the pandemic, and it really hurt a lot. And I looked. I mean, the pandemic was sort of an existential threat to the studio, and I wasn't sure if we were going to survive. I wasn't sure. But then there was a path to opening, and it took a couple of things to make me think that it was possible and that there was a way forward. And one of them was, you know, I got a call one day asking me if I was on the, if we were on the SAG-AFTRA union list of approved recording studios for COVID protocols. And I'm like, is that a thing? What was that?
Yeah,
it's a thing. And so I made some calls, did a lot of research, and figured out what they required. And you know, among other things, the MERV 13 spec filters. You know, if you can do air filtration and UVC light, and you do forehead temperature check before you come in, and some hand sanitizer, and you do all those, you know, protocols, and you know, the voiceover person, they'll come hang out in the control room. The actor will go straight into the booth, take off their mask, do the thing, and when they leave, I disinfect the room between sessions. That, and then so once I got approval and got on that list, my first gig was a film for Universal Studios and another film where they were directing from Beijing, you know, and so I did a bunch of film gigs like that, you know, ADR and voiceover narration stuff. Another thing too is, like, as you know, the worst thing to spread coronavirus is a choir singing. The worst.
Yes,
right?
Because there's so many people.
Yeah, all singing and
without, yeah.
So the phone rang one day. I want to say this was last summer, late summer, early fall. And this woman says, I got this choir I want to record, you know. Can I come in your studio? Can we come in your studio to record this choir? I'm like, hell no. No. What? She goes, well, okay, but you were recommended to us by so-and-so, and we heard you're kind of a, you know, you've got a lot of choral experience. I say, well, that's true. Do you have any options for maybe isolating people? I said, well, yeah, keep talking, you know.
Yes, of course.
And I said, we could, in theory. She goes, what if we brought people in, not all 12 of them at all the time, but what if you came in and did them 4 at a time in different rooms? I said, okay, I'm listening. Okay. We could put one person in the vocal room, one person in live room B. We put 2 people here on the opposite ends of this platform where we're sitting with a gobo in between. Okay, that's possible. And she says, well, we could do like shifts, you know, like bring in. And by the way, I said, who is this for? She says, it's Esperanza Spalding. I was like, oh, well, okay, let's make this work, you know. So that's what we did. I put Esperanza Spalding in control room B with camera feeds to the other rooms, so she could have a screen, she could see.
And they could see each other?
Well, you know.
Or hear.
They could hear each other.
Yes.
Everybody had their own customized headphone mix, and you know, she was able to talk to everybody, and I was in the control room. She was in there. One person here, one person here, one person there, one person there. We'd record for 2 hours, take a 1-hour disinfecting break, have another 4 people come in, record for 2 hours, you know, another hour break, disinfect, and then other people, another set of 4 people came 2 hours. This is pre-vaccine, and this was during a time when we were still wiping down our groceries. Remember how we
Of course. Totally.
So we don't know what
to expect.
we don't really what to expect. So, it was terrifying. We all got COVID tests right before. It was pretty scary, but that was one of my first, when we started up again. That was one of the first gigs I did when we started to very slowly open up,
Starting to get out.
as we could see a path to how you could do things safely. So, we're not having like a ton of people in the control room if we don't have to, and we're still, if we are, we're still masked up.
Of course.
After we all started getting vaccinated, we took our masks off for a while, and then Delta came along. We were like, "Oh, let's just put them back on," and that's how we've been able to get through it. And now it's gotten really busy.
Good. Let's hope 22 gets even more bigger for you, man. And it's been a pleasure to be in Skyline Studios, man. It's just a beautiful place. It's thank you for letting us interview today, Brian. I know you're a busy man, and just thank you for letting us have this interview with you.
It's my pleasure.
The insight. So that's the end of the interview. The great Brian Matthews from Skyline Studios. I mean, come
Matheson.
on, man.
Take that one again. You call me Brian Matthews. Cut. All right. Take that again.
Did I say Matthews?
Yeah.
Not Matheson?
Matheson.
Brian Matheson.
The whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you for this interview.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you for this interview with Brian Matheson. It has absolutely been great to be in here. I'm very lucky, I think, to come in here because he's a very busy producer, owner. I mean, it's just great to be here. I hope 2022 gives you the best of the best in the future.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
cool, man. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right,
brother.
appreciate it.
Yeah.